My husband is leaving me for a younger woman, and all I can think about is the house decor. I made this account because my main one has my friends on it, and I'm way too embarrassed to be known as the cheated-on wife. I'm 34 female, married for 7 years to my husband, 41 male, together for 10. I love my husband, and always thought that he felt the same about me. We built a life together. 8 years ago, he had severe anxiety and couldn't sleep, so I would stay up with him, holding his hands, and doing breathing exercises until he could finally rest. I would go to work exhausted. I helped him find a therapist. I encouraged him to grow in his career, even though he was afraid. 6 years ago, I quit my job to take care of his mum who had cancer because he had the potential to earn more than me. And while I was job hunting again, I got pregnant, and he suggested that I stay home to take care of him and our daughter. So I did. I cared for him, and I loved him. In December, he got a promotion, which meant more hours. I gave birth to our daughter in March. I went through a phase where I felt horrible, fat, ugly, and it was just me and my baby at home. He barely talked to me. He always said he was tired and that I wouldn't understand what he had to say. If it wasn't for my mum staying on video calls with me, I think I would have felt completely abandoned. I've been suggesting couples therapy since June, and he kept saying that everything was fine. Now I feel like I'm nothing more than a mother. I used to read, study, be interesting. I wasn't sexually frustrated or insecure back then. I used to have conversations about politics, music, books, art, etc. I decorate our house myself with my own savings, and it's everything I ever dreamed of. I love my house. The colors, the furniture, my kitchen. It took me years to make it exactly how I wanted. I have the garden that I always dreamed of, a vegetable patch I adore, and a hanging chair where I love to sit with my baby. Last week, he came home later than usual, and I was happy to see him. I was in the living room playing with our daughters. He asked the older one to go to her room. He seemed like he had been drinking and then said, "I love you so much, but I don't want to be with you anymore." He told me that I wasn't the person he fell in love with anymore. Then he said he was in love with a girl from work and that she was everything he had ever dreamed of, and that he needed to give himself the chance to live that love without guilt. Yes, he cheated on me with a 22-year-old. When I finally managed to speak, the only thing that came out was, "But what about my home decor?" At some point, I picked up my baby and started shouting things like, "I put time into this house. I did everything it needed. This house is mine." We argued because apparently I didn't value his suffering enough. I don't know why I kept talking about the house. I guess I'm disposable. I'm 34 with a 4-month baby and a 4-year-old daughter. I don't have a job. I'm going to lose my dream home. I feel ugly, fat, and he told me he's not attracted to me anymore because I gained too much weight during my last pregnancy. Edit. I'm going to talk with his mum and brother about the divorce today. I'm starting with them because they're close to me, and his brother went through a divorce over infidelity early last year. Also, his mum is very attached to me for obvious reasons. I was there for her during the worst part of her life, and his brother and I are also very close. I also texted my mum, and she's coming here to stay with me and the girls. I hope she gets the visa to visit, and my dad, who is American, will be coming to my state in 2 weeks. Edit 2. I talked to his brother about the affair and him leaving. He told me to find a lawyer, the same thing that you all did, so now we're talking to a few lawyers today. I accepted the help because I have the girls with me, so it's hard to do everything alone. In the comments, "I'm so sorry this happened to you. If you want the house, then you'll need to fight for it in the divorce. If your husband was even a little bit decent, he should leave it to you and your daughters so that the kids aren't uprooted. That's the least he can do for you if he wants to go build another life that he'll regret. You're going to need resolve and a plan. Get evidence of his cheating and start building your case." OP says, "I'm looking online for lawyers, but I don't know what I'm looking for." Family law attorney in your area. Why should you move? In the US? You don't work and he does? You a primary caregiver to the kids? Did someone tell him that banging a 22-year-old was free? That was the most expensive thing he ever did. OP says, I don't want to move. I've been living in the US for 16 years, but I'm from South America. Honestly, I'm scared, even though I'm here legally. A downvoted commenter says, yeah, so you wouldn't miss him, but just the house? OP says, I'm going to miss him so much. I love him, and I gave so much of myself to him. I can't even describe to you how much it hurts to take a hit like this. It hurts so much that I don't even think about how much I'll miss him. I think about how I dedicated so much time to all of this. He wanted a second daughter, and she's here at 4 months old while he's sleeping with a new girl. I'm in pain, and I'm angry. So angry. Another commenter says, I think that your first reaction being about your home decor tells you everything that you need to know. Your relationship with him was dead, and now you can move on to better things. He doesn't deserve you or the lovely home that you created. Downvoted commenter 2 says, leaving OP with a 4-month-old is pretty shitty behavior, but her response indicates to me that there wasn't a lot of space for him in their relationship. She referred to it as her house, her decor, her vegetable garden. My marriage broke down for similar reasons, although I didn't leave for my secretary. It was pretty clear to me that my wife considered her role to be looking after the house and the kids, and my role was to pay for everything. OP replies, he didn't want to get involved in anything related to the house, neither taking care of it, nor maintaining it, nor giving opinions. Everything was whatever. What do you even say in a situation like this? Your response to him bringing that news to you was perfectly valid, and I think that, from my point of view, you should be able to keep the house. I don't think it's going to work out like that once you get lawyers involved and start splitting assets up. But yeah, he distanced himself from you for such a long time that you didn't really have anything besides the house in your life anymore. And I felt like you were saying that as a response of him taking the only thing that you had left from you. He'd already taken so much over time. He'd already distanced himself so much. I don't blame you for being like, don't take this too. This is everything I ever wanted and you're going to take that too? I hope you take the advice of the comments and that you get a fair split of everything in the divorce. And now, onto the update. Hi, I'm writing because I feel pathetic and tired. I just want to skip to when this phase of my life is over. A brief summary of what happened this week, and I can't believe I loved this man. My brother-in-law is staying at my house until my family arrives, and my best friend visits me every day. On Monday, my brother-in-law asked my ex to leave the house, and strangely, he actually listened to his brother. Since then, he's only been tormenting me through messages. He wants an amicable divorce and keeps making proposals that only benefit him. I've been trying to stick to a routine because I have 2 children and they need stability, and apparently I'm the only one willing to provide that. Yesterday, he texted me saying he wanted to see the kids, and I agreed. He showed up after they were already asleep. I swore he wasn't going to come. He arrived here at 11 p.m. with a document wanting to talk to me about how he'd like to keep the house and pay me an additional amount for my share. I just stared at him without saying anything. I asked him to leave because the kids were sleeping. My brother-in-law added that it wasn't the right time or place to discuss this and asked him to leave. I don't know what happened to him, but this doesn't seem like the man that I married. He yelled at my brother-in-law, saying he was betraying him, that he wanted to play house because his own marriage didn't work out, and then he yelled at me, calling me a lazy whore who wasn't going to take his money. He said this house was his, and that his 22-year-old girlfriend Anne told him that I was going to try to keep the house that he bought. We didn't respond. I just said that he should leave because he was getting messy, and then he left. I don't know why he wants the house when he can afford to buy another one, and I don't understand how the person that I married could try to trick me just to come out ahead in the divorce. I kept asking myself if this is the man that I married. He wants me gone. He wants the kids gone. He didn't ask about the girls, about his own daughters. He didn't see them or even ask to give them a goodnight kiss. To him and to Anne, we are just an obstacle. Nothing more. I'm not even a person. In the comments, the 22-year-old wants the house. OP says, for sure, but she won't even come close. What makes me angriest is that it took me so long to get the house to look the way that it does today. And now some girl comes along and he just assumes that I'm going to give my house to them? Another commenter asks, did he buy the house before you were married, or did you both buy it after you were married? If he came into the marriage with the house, then there isn't much you can do, and he will likely get the house. But if not, then you'll probably get the house in the divorce, as that is the home of the kids. I would suggest keeping all communications in text so that you have evidence of what he said. Keep a notebook as well to make notes of anything he does or say or doesn't do regarding the kids. If he says he will visit but doesn't, make a note of it. This will help you in child custody. OP says, I paid part of the down payment, he pays the mortgage, but I've invested around 15% of the value in renovations and decoration. Another commenter says, I'm so proud of you for standing your ground and protecting yourself and the kids. I think brother-in-law has always known who his brother is, a selfish asshole, and is helping you and the kids because he knows how his brother can be. Brother-in-law sounds like a decent guy, and I'm so glad that you have someone in your corner as you wait for reinforcements. At least you have your 2 babies and won't have to worry about custody. Please get therapy when and if you can so that you have someone to process this with. OP replies, honestly, he and my best friend are the best. After 4 months, I finally have time to rest and get help with my baby. Do you know how good it feels to take a 40 to 50 minute shower just to relax? I had been alone for so long that I thought it was normal to do everything by myself. Someone else says, so basically you quit your job to care for his mum and didn't get another job to raise yours and his children, so you had to rely on him for income, and now this fucker who you gave up everything for his and his family wants to basically leave you nothing and doesn't give a fuck about his kids? Fuck that. I hope someone will give you the money for a good divorce lawyer. What a fucking asshole. And OP says, my dad is going to pay for my lawyer. My mum is also supporting me financially, and my brother-in-law has also offered to cover expenses if necessary. Coming in the Niles says, he showed up late at night hoping to find OP by herself so he could intimidate her into signing that document, because his new girlfriend will probably leave him if he doesn't own a house. I think the girlfriend is pregnant. That's how these ones usually end up. When my ex cheated on me, his affair partner was never pregnant, but she wanted everything that was mine. She wanted our house, she wanted our pet rabbit, she wanted the groceries out of my fridge. No joke. She also tried to convince my ex that I was a scheming harridan who was going to take everything that he had worked for. She didn't understand how community property worked. Yeah, nah, this is far from over, and I don't have enough exposure to really see how divorce settlements in cases like this pan out, but I would really hope that she gets to keep the house in this and he can't force her out of that house because he is being so incredibly unreasonable, he is being evil, he is being so insanely evil in this, it's hard to comprehend, but it's sad that I keep seeing stories like this. I feel like this shouldn't happen. It's amazing that OP has such a strong support network behind her and is able to be financially supported by her family. That man has some absolute nerve, showing up at midnight to try to strong-arm her into giving up the house and kicking the kids out. I really hope she gets full custody and drains his ass for everything he's worth, and that 22-year-old leaves him. He deserves the worst for everything he's done to OP and put her through. What a piece of shit. Thank you for the story, thank you for the update, OP. I hope all goes well. Good luck. And I'd love to know what you guys think of this one down in the comments below. Let me know. Our next post is by user, Is It Real Love? Titled, Long distance girlfriend, 28 female, has close male friend who likes her. I, 28 male, am wondering what to do. So my girlfriend is righteous, fair, and caring to the extreme. She wouldn't hurt a fly. Case in point, I once killed an ant that was on the table, and she actually cried with real tears because she cares and because she can't see any being, no matter which one, be in pain. Now, on to my issue. We're in a long-distance relationship, and there is this guy at her work that is really desperately in love with her, in my opinion. It started out as them becoming running partners while she was preparing for a marathon. They run together 3 times a week before work. And long runs at that, sometimes 20 to 30K. They talk a lot during those and got to know each other. Then they hang out at work. They eat together and talk more. They're both kind of foodies. Actually, that's one of the special things between me and her. So they exchange things that they cooked. For example, jam in exchange for honey, homemade bread, things like that. Then sometimes they go to parties together. Though as far as I know, he's invited her a couple of times and she's always declined to go to a party just with him. If they are at a party together, it's because it's a group thing and they belong to the same group of people. Anyway, they go to parties, and I think they hang out nicely there too. Lastly, although she declines to go party one-on-one with him, they do hang out together on Sunday afternoons and the like. So I'm 100% sure that this guy is super into her. He does everything he can to hang out with her. Now onto her side. She wouldn't hurt me. I was wondering for a while whether she was capable of cheating behind my back and not telling me. In other words, her version of not hurting me. But I'm pretty sure that's not an option because, 1, we see each other often, every 2 weeks, and it's miraculously amazing every single time. Mind-blowing. Never seen such synergy in any couple. Everything. The conversation, the love, the activities we do, the sex, absolutely everything. 2, we talk on the phone all the time. Every single evening. There is literally no available time in which she could actually cheat on me unless they meet from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. or something ridiculous like that. 3, she's pretty blunt. I don't think she would hide something like that. She's not the type to be afraid to break up. I think if she felt like it, she'd just do it because it would feel right. Having said all of this, I don't know what to do. Just like I'm 100% sure that the guy would love to be in a couple with her, I think she's also not indifferent, and she would definitely go for it if she weren't with me. They're a pretty good match. They have similar backgrounds, more similar than her and I. They work at the same place and like hanging out at the same spots. They speak the same language, whereas with me, she has to speak in English. None of us are native. He's a cool guy, young, smart, sportsy. He's got a lot going for him. It's a funny situation. On the one hand, it's super awesome to have a girl that's so true to you. I'm really sure she's not cheating. That's not the problem here. On the other hand, I'm also pretty damn sure that if we weren't together, she'd be with that guy. It would just make absolutely no sense to not be with him. So the question is that an okay situation? Could one see it as her just keeping the guy as a backup in case we break up? And is that an okay thing to do? Is it an indication that I'm not showing her enough proof of my affection and she believes there's a possibility of breakup? Alternatively, she's somewhat naive about many things. Is it actually possible that she doesn't notice anything? That she really thinks they are just friends? That he has no special intentions? On the possibility that she's afraid of a breakup and keeps him as a backup, unfortunately, I can't go much further with our current situation to give her a promise of security. We're long distance, so I wouldn't do anything crazy like proposing to her when we have never lived together. I guess the only reasonable thing I could do is quit my job and move to her city. But I love my job so much, and I'm doing so well at it, that it would really be hard for me to do that. Note that for the eventual plan, when we'd move in together, we would go to a city where I can keep working with the same company. There are many such cities, but sadly the one that she lives in is not one of those where we have an office. I almost feel bad because they'd be such a great couple. I feel like I should just make it easy for her and let her be with that guy. Be done with long distance. Let them be married in their city and have a happy life together. With me, we have another 1 to 2 years of long distance to get through, and then we'd probably have to both move to another city to be together. We've talked a lot about it. We're both okay with that plan. We both can't wait to move in together, but when you take a step back, it would just make so much more sense for them to be together instead. I guess sometimes love does strange things. I don't know if I should bring this up to her at all. As I said, nothing bad is actually happening at the moment. I just want to avoid that in 1 year she suddenly has a change of heart and goes with him, and we all realize we lost 1 year of our lives. And frankly, if that happens, the two of them would still be fine, but the biggest loser would be me, since I'd be all alone and I'd have to start everything over. The stupidest part is that this wouldn't be a question at all if we lived in the same city, because then she'd obviously spend all of her time with me, and she wouldn't have this enormous amount of time spent with the other guy. I don't know what to do. I'm happy with her, and she's happy with me. I just don't want to wake up one day and realize that it was all a waste. I'm in my prime years now. I won't be anymore in 2 to 3 years. Edit. Maybe a reasonable thing to do would be to talk to the guy. There aren't many opportunities for me to do so, but he might be at a gathering that we're going to attend next weekend. Sorry, don't want to give too many details. In the comments, Tra-la-la-la says, I think the problem from here is the vast amount of time that she's spending one-on-one with a guy that isn't you. Even though these aren't official dates, she's been effectively dating this guy for a long while. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I would just sit her down and discuss it. May I ask why you think this is not a form of cheating? In my male mind, I consider this a kind of emotional cheating. It astounds me that many women can easily consider getting emotional support from men who are just friends, or at least that's what they would have us believe. All men that I know consider this kind of emotional intimacy, love, and sex to go hand in hand, as in a relationship. Personally, I feel that your girlfriend is filling a void and probably is waiting for you to do something about it. Either break up or close the distance. You seem to be leaning towards the former. Either way, you need to make the move if you want peace of mind. Tra-la-la-la says, I wouldn't talk to the guy, but I would talk to your girlfriend about setting a few more boundaries. I personally would feel like this friendship had passed into the relationship zone a long time ago. You're effectively being cuckolded by this guy. He's dating your girlfriend, and you know he is, and you let your girlfriend continue dating him. Yeah, I feel like OP's gut reaction on this one is correct, and that maybe she's just not viewing the situation the same way. Or she is. We can't really know that unless you have a direct conversation with either of them about it, and see if they can be completely truthful about their feelings about each other, because that is a considerable amount of time to spend with someone else, and to want to constantly spend with them. To me, that is emotional affair territory. That is an incredibly emotionally intimate connection that those two have. I understand you can be friends with someone, yes. We all can absolutely have intersex friendships. I can be best friends with a woman, absolutely. But I think people would turn heads if I were to be very close friends with a woman who had a boyfriend that was living in another city, and I was constantly trying to spend time in person with her as often as I can. People would be like, Marky, what's going on, man? This is really weird. She has a boyfriend. This is not normal for people. This is incredibly emotionally intimate. Are you sure that he's okay with that? Why do you feel the need to spend so much time with her? I really feel like one of these people, or both of them, have feelings for each other, and it's high time for you to have that talk with her and figure out a solution together as to where to go from here, because, yeah, I think this relationship between them is untenable to continue in this capacity. And now, onto the update 5 years later. So I brought up the topic, and she was super cool about it. She was surprised and said that she thought that it was just a friendship on her side. However, she went up to the guy and asked him if he saw things the same way. He said he didn't. He was actually into her. So she told him that she was with me and that they really need to stop hanging out. It was never an issue after that. We still met him at a few parties, but it didn't make me feel bad at all. Reading the old post made me smile. It felt like a big issue back then, but she solved it so swiftly. I'm really thankful to her. We have had the most wonderful relationship since then, and even before then. We're 33 years old now and are still going strong together. We moved in together a couple of years ago, and it's been amazing living together, traveling together, being together all the time. She's still so sweet. I love her with the bottom of my heart, and it's obvious that she loves me too. You never know how these things will turn out, but ours is a story to fill your hearts with hope and love. In the comments, BettyBoo5 says, I've just read the old post, and I thought it's totally friendship from her side, but not his. I've had friendships that were most definitely friendship from my side, but not the men. They were just using the friendship to get in my knickers. I always had male friends, but stopped because it was too much trouble and drama, and it was always twisted into being the bad guy. So glad that you got things sorted by just speaking to her about it, followed by her having a conversation. Lovely to hear that you're still together and very much in love. I feel like it's really interesting to note that someone in the original comments section called what was going on emotional or cheating, because basically the friend was a platonic support system for her. That's not what emotional cheating is. Otherwise, my bisexual self would be constantly cheating on my husband because every single one of my friends is a potential romantic interest. Friends provide support, emotional support. The idea that you can only receive emotional support from your spouse or partner is incredibly hard to live with. We are social beings, and if the only person you can lean on is your spouse, that really limits options if you're going through a time when your spouse needs to lean on you, and it would be unfair to lean back. Look up the ring circle of venting if you don't know what that kind of situation would call for this. Essentially, we all need friends. It sucks that OP's girlfriend had found a friend with an ulterior motive, but we should all be open to the idea that friends do come in all shapes and sizes and are incredibly valuable for us. Your spouse cannot be expected to always provide the brunt of emotional support that one may need. It's unfair and unrealistic. Damn it, this was so wholesome. Can the other guy at least be pregnant? I'm okay, even if it's one baby and not twins. She got pregnant, but dun dun dun, it wasn't even hers. She cheated on him with a girl, and they got each other pregnant at the same time with one twin each. Bro, I love mpreg. We gotta bring mpreg back. It's gotta be my favorite subject. Quote, it astounds me that many women can easily consider getting emotional support from men who are just friends. You know those studies about how single women are better off emotionally than single men? Or just the general male loneliness epidemic? It's because women don't rely only on their partner for emotional support. It's also part of why men think women don't like emotional men. Women like emotional men, but women don't like suddenly becoming another human being's only form of emotional support after only 2 dates. Whoa, what the hell, guys? I thought that she loved me and she's gonna be my emotional support bangmate after 2 dates. And then when I put 2 babies in her, I leave her for a 22-year-old and try to kick her out of my house. What do you mean that's not how life works? What's going on here? I'm gonna need downvoted Redditor 3 to come and give his opinion on this one. I don't like this reality that I'm living in. You guys can find me in the art room venting about this one, alright? Me, Jack, and Connor are gonna be venting this one out. Anyway, I'm glad these two were able to resolve this one and recognize that it was an untenable situation. Yes, it's okay to have an emotional support friend. I myself have emotional support friends. We love to see it. We love providing emotional support back and being trusted to be lent on and provide that support. But of course, it was crossing the line when this guy was very clearly into her and something had to change. And I'm glad that she had such a blunt and upfront conversation with him about it and cut it off straight away. He was not wrong about her being a blunt person. I think I said brunt? I don't know. Whatever. I'm leaving it in. I'm glad their relationship held up, and I hope they continue to have a fantastic life together that I am not at all jealous of. Thank you for the story, and thank you for the updates, OP. But now I turn this to you guys. What do you think of this one? Tell me down in the comments right now, or else. And that's where I'm going to leave today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, great. If you didn't, why are you still here? I'll see you in the next one. Bye.